Long ago, the four nations lived in harmony, but everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Does that line bring back a rush of childhood endorphins? If not, you might not know the show that I'll be discussing today, Avatar: The Last Airbender. The show ran from 2005 to 2008 on Nickelodeon. The show touches on difficult topics like genocide and misogyny without ever insulting the intelligence of its intended audience, 6 to 11-year-olds. Today we'll talk about Avatar's stellar storytelling and world building, its ability to explore topics like genocide, and to do this while not insulting the intelligence of its audience. Hopefully, you will decide to watch the show for the first time or rewatch it again. This is the premise of the show. Four nations, represented by the elements air, fire, water, and earth, used to live in balance, protected by the Avatar. In this world, certain people have the ability to bend or control an element. The Avatar can master all four elements and has a great power and connection to the spirit world. However, the Fire Nation started a war 100 years ago, around the time the Avatar, a 12-year-old boy named Aang, disappeared. 100 years later, two Water Tribe children, siblings Katara and Sokka, find Aang buried in an iceberg, and the show follows their adventures in trying to defeat the Fire Lord, escape from his son Zuko and daughter Azula, and learn lessons along the way. The first topic we'll discuss today is the show's world building. The nations and world rules that they've built are so consistent and well written, they drive the story forward. The Avatar: The Last Airbender world is full of cute, funny animals like turtle ducks and flying bison, beautiful scenery, and most importantly, a magical world full of rules that enhance the storyline. An example of this is in the episode Imprisoned in Season 1. The kids stumble upon an Earth Kingdom town that is occupied by the Fire Nation. They have been taking away all the Earthbenders. They meet a teenager named Haru who's an Earthbender, but has to hide it so he isn't taken by the Fire Nation's prisons like his father. Through a series of misadventures, Haru is captured and sent to a barge made of metal surrounded by water. Because Earthbenders need Earth to fight, this concept of imprisoning them in metal barges surrounded by water is an insightful decision by the writing team. You can see this in later episodes, like in the Season 3 episode The Puppet Master, where waterbenders are imprisoned away from water. These world rules create a vivid world driven by its own magical rules, which create an amazing and creative show that delights and causes intrigue. Another example of stellar world building is in the Season 2 episode The Guru. As previously stated, most Earthbenders can only bend Earth. However, metal is just refined Earth, and in this episode, a new addition to Team Avatar, Toph Beifong, bends metal to escape imprisonment. The writers never break their own rules, only bend them. World building isn't the only aspect of Avatar that makes it one of the best children's shows on television. The storytelling and character development sets Avatar aside. Many children's shows try to create developed, deep characters that teach lessons and that apply to children and adults, but fall short. Avatar doesn't fall short. It soars and succeeds. In the Season 1 episode, The Storm, Aang runs and hides in a cave during a storm when a local fisherman accuses him of abandoning the world. At the same time, Aang's foil and enemy, Prince Zuko, is stuck in the same storm, fuming about not being able to capture the Avatar. Through a series of flashbacks, the writers parallel Prince Zuko and Avatar Aang's journeys and paths. Avatar Aang ran away when he was going to be separated from his mentor, Monkey Yaso. Zuko was scarred and banished for what his father saw as cowardice, refusing to fight his adult father, who challenged him to a duel for speaking out of turn during a war meeting when he was 13. His only way to return home is to capture the Avatar. They are both seeking to restore their honor, and through a series of flashbacks and parallel frames, Aang and Zuko's stories are shown as foils to each other, both searching for their destiny. Storytelling and character development is present throughout the whole series. One of the most discussed aspects of Avatar is Prince Zuko's character development. Dr. Carol Panetta of the Boston Graduate School has written an entire article about Zuko's redemption arc through the lens of psychological analysis. Zuko was sent on a mission to capture the Avatar with the guidance of his uncle Iroh, a former now disgraced general. When we first see Zuko, he is possessed by a need to restore his honor and gain his father's acceptance and love through capturing the Avatar. Iroh keeps trying to get through to Zuko, but Zuko pushes him aside. Zuko believes that being powerful and cruel like his father is what he's supposed to be, but he struggles with this as he is naturally kind and merciful like his mother. However, as the series progresses, as Dr. Panetta points out, We begin to see him internalize Iroh's teachings, eventually paving his own destiny. Zuko's redemption arc is another reason that this show is the best children's show of the 2000s. It shows that there is good in all of us, even the people who are villains, and its consistency in message and character shows that their storytelling is solid. Finally, that aspect of Avatar that truly sets it aside and makes it deserve the title of the best children's show of the 2000s, and possibly ever, is its ability to discuss difficult, serious topics like familial abuse and genocide without insulting its audience. Most children's shows teeter on the edge of discussing these things, but mainly end up discussing things they think cater to children. Avatar doesn't shy away from big topics, and knows that children themselves have maybe experienced some of these things. In the third episode of Avatar, Aang, Katara, and Sokka visit Aang's old air temple. In Southern Air Temple from 2005, we see that the Fire Nation armies have completely wiped out the air nomads. We found out later that this was intended to kill the Avatar, the Fire Nation's most dangerous enemy. Avatar doesn't show away from shying Aang's reaction to the genocide of his people. He becomes really angry, activating the Avatar state. Avatar also explores partial genocide in the first episode, The Boy in the Iceberg, in which Katara relates that the Fire Nation killed her mother and other waterbenders. In their village, children are being trained as warriors because all the adults are gone, and this trend continues throughout the series. As well, throughout the series we see Zuko's familial abuse and how it affected him and his sister. She was favored by their father, becoming ruthless and emotionless, and he was favored by their mother, who saves him from his grandfather's wrath and must disappear to protect him. Zuko is physically and emotionally abused by his father, who scars him in a duel to teach him a lesson. Zuko's emotional reactions to the aftermath of this trauma are on full display throughout the show, including anger and shame. These are powerful storylines for children, considering that according to DoSomething.org, 2.9 million cases of child abuse are reported in the US every year. Children that are going through situations like this are able to relate to these difficult topics, and children who aren't are able to understand and empathize. That's the power of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is not only funny, entertaining, and well-written, but it teaches lessons and shows conflict that aren't commonly seen in children's television shows. Avatar: The Last Airbender is more than just a children's show. It's a show with incredible world-building, storytelling, and lessons to be learned for both children and adults. Today we talked about how its world rules drive its incredible story, and how it touches on difficult topics without assuming its audience won't understand. I hope after this speech you decide to give Avatar a watch on Netflix, or watch it again and relive all the best parts. The Avatar truly returned when the world needed him most, and I hope you can take comfort in this amazing show, which is easily the best of the early 2000s children's shows.